Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 29 of Big Brother Season 24's overnight feed recaps. And welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to Eviction Day. Yeah, tonight we have a live eviction where either Nicole or Taylor are going to head out the door. It's looking like it's going to be Nicole right now. I'm about 95% there. Things can change, but right now it's looking like Nicole's going to change or going to go home. We had a lot of conversations last night as people start seeing the writing on the wall and doing a little campaigning and Hail Marys and things like that. Lots of conversations. So let's get right into it and talk about everything that happened last night. First of all, we'll start, right after the TV episode finished up. We've got Nicole talking to Indy, saying that she's afraid that they're going to, the other side is going to try and flip the vote just like they did last week against Amira, and that Nicole may be heading out the door. Indy isn't believing this at this point. Now, here's the thing, kind of the theme of this evening. Unlike last week where there was a complete blindside of Amira, this week, the leftovers have pretty much decided they want to start filling people in what's going to happen, but not until late last night did they want to do it. But the idea is, first of all, if they let Jasmine, Alyssa, Indy mainly know that Nicole's getting voted out, they hope that they'll abandon ship, they'll join up, so it'll look like a near unanimous vote, so there won't be as much blame cast on the leftovers. The other side of it, too, is there's a lot of people that want to make sure that they give those three girls the heads up. Kyle wants to give Alyssa a heads up. Monty and Joseph want to give Indy a heads up. So the idea is to pan out the information, give it to them a little bit later in the evening. So we'll see that happening overnight. But for right now, Indy's not believing when Nicole's saying, yeah, I think they may mirror me at this point. All right, we've got Taylor in the living room practicing her eviction speech and her clothing and everything else. We heard a little bit of her speech. This could be interesting tonight. The part I heard was, to quote a famous Big Brother fan, Rihanna, Nicole, you look so dumb right now. That's going to set off Daniel, right? I think that's the intent. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Taylor's planning to throw out a few fireworks this evening. All right, we've got Jasmine, Alyssa, Michael in the Jetsons' bedroom. Jasmine mentions the fact that she doesn't know who she can trust, but she figures later last night, that people's true intentions will start coming out, that she'll start learning and understanding more about how people are actually going to vote. And she's right. I mean, that's exactly what does happen. But she is worried even at this point that the vote isn't going to turn out the way they're thinking it's going to turn out. Jasmine's ready to abandon ship. She's recognizing that something's going on, and she wants to make sure she's on the right side of it. All right, we've got Kyle talking to the camera in the HOH room. He's saying that Daniel and Nicole think that he's dumb, and he's fine with that. He's going to let them just keep on thinking that if they want. But he's also saying that his excuse for voting out Nicole is going to be that Nicole revealed the Poe Pack alliance, and therefore she can't be trusted. And so that's why he's flipping his vote. Well, again, we know he's been talking about this for a long time, but that's what the excuse is he's going to use. Our Alyssa comes in at that point, and she's talking about how happy she is that Kyle won the veto since he was able to pull her off the block. Alyssa doesn't realize that if Daniel hadn't insisted on using that veto, for bad reasons, as it turns out, but if Daniel hadn't insisted on using it, Kyle may have left that veto alone and left Alyssa and Indy on the block. Wouldn't that have been a different change of pace of events for this week, huh? Don't think he would consider doing that now. Listen, Kyle have gotten a little tighter since then, but at least at one point, he was ready to leave her up there. Probably a good thing Alyssa does not know that. All right, we've got Kyle saying that Nicole had said that she told Monty that her targets, if she's survived, were going to be Indy, Jasmine, and Alyssa. But that Nicole privately told them, said, no, that's not really true, but she threw her names out to Monty. So again, Kyle just trying to prep Alyssa for why Nicole may not be as close to Alyssa as she thinks she is. Alyssa is saying, look, Jasmine's putting a lot of pressure on me to talk to you to make sure that you're still on board with voting out Taylor. And at that point, Kyle starts talking about Jasmine, saying she is so annoying. She drives me crazy, just constantly hanging around and asking questions. And he's a little fed up with her. All right, we've got Alyssa talking to Michael now in the HOH room. And she's saying that she thinks that Taylor is going home because she was talking about seeing Julie in her dress. Alyssa doesn't understand how it's going to go just yet. She still thinks it's going to be Taylor out the door. Alyssa is also telling Michael that she promises not to put him or Brittany up. And he promises the same thing to her and Indy. Remember, at one point, Brittany and Michael are talking about needing to get a little closer to some of these girls, and so Michael's trying to do that with Alyssa a little bit. So they're promising each other they're safe with each other. Probably so short term. Michael's saying he knows that Brittany wouldn't put him up. They're a duo, right? They're working together. And he's telling Alyssa, I know she wouldn't put me up, but I also am worried about sharing information with her because she's kind of open mouth. She'll spill the beans to a lot of different people. So he's trying to distance a little bit the working relationship between the two of them. And Alyssa at this point trying to cover her bases, saying, look, Michael, not only will I not put you or Brittany up, but Indy won't either. We need to work together going forward. Yeah, we'll see. There's more talk going on about maybe this group working with each other, as Kyle and Alyssa also working with this group. A lot of people putting out feelers right now. All right, we've got Monty talking to Jasmine, telling Jasmine that if Nicole is still here next week, that she and Daniel are going to try and backdoor him. Again, Monty's starting to hint around why keeping Nicole may not be best for his game. He's telling Jasmine that if she can get Indy and Alyssa to vote Nicole out, that it's not going to be a split vote. In other words, everyone in this house is going to be voting the same way. So you're not going to be standing out, Jasmine. Y'all girls will be on the right side of the house. That's the key tonight. I want to be on the right side of the house. I understand why people do that, but we heard a lot of that conversation overnight. He's telling her, though, saying, look, I'm giving you this information, but please do not share this information with Daniel or Nicole. And don't tell Alyssa either, because you know that she'll spill the beans also. So just keep the information yourself. Jasmine said, yeah, sure. Jasmine at one point says that she'll wait till tomorrow morning today to spill the beans to Alyssa. And Monty is telling Jasmine, saying, look, if you and the other girls vote to send Nicole out the door, neither me or Joseph or Turner, we won't come after y'all. We're not going to then turn around and come after y'all if y'all do that. Well, that's kind of true. The next target would be Daniel. Now, after that, all bets are off. All right, Monty wants the vote to be near unanimous. And then everyone again is going to target Daniel next week. So that's why he's telling Jasmine, y'all girls are good. We're not coming after you. Daniel's the target. Again, take it out a few more weeks and see where the protection is. All right, we've got Jasmine immediately heading to the bathroom and telling Alyssa what Monty just told her, that everyone is voting Nicole out. So the cat's out of the bag at this point. It's just going to spread like wildfire throughout the house. All right, we've got Alyssa and Indy and Jasmine talking. Indy is reporting or saying that if Taylor stays, that she's going to join Alyssa and Indy as the bestie festies duo, becoming a trio. Indy doesn't like that. She does not want that at all. Jasmine's telling Indy about the talk that she just had with Monty and the plan to vote out Nicole. Followed that up with the plan to vote out Daniel. Jasmine is saying that she wants them all still to vote to save Nicole. Or saying, hey, what if we still vote to save Nicole, but then we just lie about it? We tell everyone else that, no, we voted to send out Taylor. It wasn't us. Don't think that's going to work the way she thinks, but she's offering that up. Alyssa's shutting it down, saying, no, I can't do that. Y'all know I'm a bad liar. They'll see right through me. I won't be able to keep the lie up. It's just not going to work. Now, Alyssa is wondering about this whole send Nicole out the door. She's asking Jasmine, saying, could Monty just be screwing with you, messing with your head a little bit? Because she's saying, Kyle and Michael have both said that they're voting out Taylor. So maybe Monty doesn't have the votes that he says he does. He's just screwing with you, Jasmine. But Alyssa says, here's the thing. Whichever way we vote, let's vote together. Let's not leave anyone hanging. We need to decide how we're going to vote and just do it all together. Indy is not happy that Taylor's going to stay. That may be an understatement of Indy's opinion about that. She has a few inappropriate words directed towards Taylor, which I'll just leave out of this conversation. But she's not happy that Indy now has a decent chance. She's saying she's going to win this thing. She'll win it if she stays. Alyssa at one point, again, talking about the fact that Kyle and Michael said that the plan is still to send out Taylor. Alyssa's saying, look, I don't think that Kyle's lying to me, but the other side may not be giving him all the information because they know he's connected to me. So maybe Kyle doesn't know either, but I don't know. At that point, we've got Brittany joining the group. Brittany's trying to do what she can to push them towards sending out Nicole. She's saying, look, Nicole threw my name out, and she said a lot of things this week that involve me and y'all and all of that. I just, I'm a little nervous about keeping Nicole at this point. Indy says, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to vote out Taylor, even if it's me and Daniel are the only two. I don't care. I'm not going to go against Daniel. She says, Daniel, my friend, he just pulled us off the block with a veto. I'm not going to now betray him by voting out Nicole. I'm just not going to do it. We'll see if that opinion stays throughout the evening. Alyssa reminds Indy that if Taylor does survive, if Nicole goes home, if Taylor survives, and that she does join the duo of Indy and Alyssa, she says, I know you don't like it, but if Taylor joins us, it means she can't send us out. And that if they put us on the block, that means Taylor goes up on the block as well. And they may not want to do that. So there is some protection provided, assuming the duo bestie festy twist works the way we think it's going to work this week, and assuming it keeps on being in place. We'll find out tonight. All right, we've got Daniel and Nicole talking. They're worried about Kyle. Nicole thinks that he could be playing dumb, but Daniel says, nah, no way he's playing dumb. I'm his bestie duo. No, he's not playing about being dumb. Remember, Kyle already said that they both think that he's dumb, and he's just going to continue to play it up. Nicole's figuring out he may have a little more going on. Daniel's not buying it just yet. All right, we've got Jasmine and Nicole in the kitchen as Jasmine is preparing her chicken wings. Just a few hours to go until have-nots are ended. Jasmine's ready for it. She's already fixing up her food, chicken wings, spaghetti, pasta. I think she's ready to go. So she's getting that ready. She's telling Nicole that she really thought when she hurt her ankle, that was probably the end of her game. But she says that if anyone was to take her out while her ankle was still hurt, she just feels like that would truly be a cowardly move. Maybe a strategic move, but she's saying, I hurt ankle and you still take me out. What a coward to do something like that. She's saying that people might think that she's taking a little bit longer to recover than they would expect. What are the odds that she's still complaining about complaining about her ankle? I don't know, in another month, another 2 months, she may be Final Four and still saying, if you vote me out because of my ankle, you're a coward. I think she'll milk it for as long as she can. Later, she's talking to Monty and Indy and Joseph, I think. And she says, look, it really drained me having to ask for help after I hurt my foot. That's just not who I am. It killed me having to ask for help. She figured out how to ask for help pretty quick after she hurt her ankle, did she? And she got pretty good at it as well. But she says that's not really who she is. All right, we've got Brittany talking to the group. A bunch of them in the bathroom, I think, when this happened. She's saying that she's never seen Friends and she doesn't see the appeal of Harry Potter. Careful, Brittany. I've been cheering for you, but with those opinions, we may have to have a conversation when you get out of the house. That leads into a long conversation about Friends, the TV show. Clear that. Yeah, the Friends at TV show, they all are talking about that and everything. It's hard to believe that half this cast wasn't even born when Friends premiered on NBC. But they're all talking about Friends. I think some of them watched it in sequester, things like that. All right, we've got Alyssa talking to Kyle in the HOH room. This is right about the time that Jasmine is and Taylor and Turner are ending their have-nots and eating downstairs, but they're upstairs talking. Kyle saying, look, I think I'm going to vote out Nicole because she's been throwing out your name, Alyssa, and because I'm pretty sure she revealed the POPAC alliance. Remember, he said that he was going to use that excuse earlier. So he's giving those as the reasons for voting Nicole out. Alyssa's saying, well, I just don't trust Daniel and Nicole anymore. I get it. I absolutely do. And she's saying the main thing, I want to go with the house. However the house goes, that's the way I'm going as well. Kyle is talking about going forward, how they need to work as you kind of see that side of the house, the other side of the house blowing up a little bit. He's telling her, say, look, I think you probably need to work with you and me. He says, I want us to work together. He said, probably working going forward with Michael and Brittany. And then later he throws in Turner's name as well. He says, I really trust Michael. I think that would be a great connection for us if we could grab the three of them and the two of us and make something happen. So that's kind of where they're envisioning maybe going forward. And I think that's viable. Again, I don't think the leftovers are going to last for more than another couple of weeks. You're going to have you can have Joseph and Monty and Turner maybe. Well, who knows where Turner goes, but you're gonna have some of the Pound Alliance and some of these other folks in the leftovers probably button heads here before too long. So he's suggesting, hey, let's work with Michael and Brittany and bring Turner in as well. They're both talking again about how annoying Jasmine is as I hear her downstairs laughing and eating food and everything. They're talking about the showmance. They've decided they're going to wait one more week until they officially declare a showmance exists. That way, another week, everyone at that point is in jury, they assume. So they feel a little safer about making their intentions, their love known for one another. So they're going to declare the showmance after one more week of sneaking around. No one's buying it. Everyone gets what's going on, right? All right, we've got, as I mentioned, Jasmine and Turner are both celebrating the end of have-nots with plates of food. Jasmine's got pasta and chicken wings. I think Turner looks like he's going to town on pizza for himself, but they're certainly happy to be through with have-nots. Kyle and Michael are in the storage room talking. Kyle's quizzing Michael about how Brittany feels about Alyssa. Again, kind of feeling them out, see if maybe they want to work together a little bit. Michael's saying, the girls weren't great to Brittany, but that probably had more to do with Amira than anything else. Brittany's never said anything specifically about Alyssa, so, maybe we'd be okay with that. Michael is saying that from his standpoint, he would much rather work with Alyssa over Indy because he feels like they're going to need Alyssa's number on down the road if they're going up against Monty and Joseph, which they are worried about, and they're vocalizing at this point in time. He said, I think we'll need that number. And I absolutely believe Alyssa would work with me and with Brittany much more than Indy, who is immediately going to turn to Monty and Joseph. So he's saying, if it comes down to me, I'm booting Indy before I ever get Alyssa out the door here. So Kyle, you're good. Let's see what we can do. All right. Terrance and Taylor and Michael are in the storage room a little bit after this. Terrance, it's interesting. Taylor told Terrance right out, or asked right out, said, do I have your vote? Terrance didn't really say. Terrance is trying to play both sides to see who comes out on top. Because I'm not sure Terrance is completely in the loop with just who's voting. He's not sold on where Joseph's head is. So he's kind of trying to be non-committal. He's saying, look, I think it's going to be a 5-5 vote. Monty's going to cast a vote, and I think he's going to save you, Taylor. So he's saying Taylor's safe, but he never actually came right out and said, yeah, you got my vote. He's saying, though, that one of the three of them, again, Terrance, Taylor, and Michael, he says one of the three of us needs to win HOH. We've been on the block. We know we're the continual pawns and targets. One of us needs to win HOH. And they're all obviously agreeing to that. Now, after Terrance leaves, Michael then points out, says, look, Terrance isn't counting Kyle as being on your side. And I really think it's probably going to be a 6-4 vote, not 5-5 like Terrance is pointing out. I think based on everything that's happening, it's probably going to even be closer to a unanimous vote. All right, we got Daniel and Kyle talking. Daniel is saying that Kyle is the deciding vote. He's figured it out. Kyle's going to be the decider. Kyle's saying, look, I haven't heard any talk about flipping the vote or anything. Playing dumb, just like he said he was going to do. Daniel is saying, you're my bestie. If this is Nicole's last night, I expect you to give me a heads up so I can spend quality time with her before she heads out the door. You owe me that. Well, no, you don't owe anyone anything information-wise, heads-up-wise, or anything else. And Kyle just continues saying, I haven't heard anything. All right, we've got Monty and Joseph and Indy talking. I think this was upstairs in the HOH room. Monty saying, look, a lot of people are starting to not trust Nicole. Getting Indy on board, probably the toughest task of the evening. He's saying a lot of people are starting not to trust Nicole. He's saying that, look, Nicole wanted to leave you on the block, Indy. You and Alyssa, she wasn't watching out for y'all when she wanted to keep herself off the block and keep y'all up there. And Nicole also said that she didn't think she could, according to Monty, said that she couldn't trust Indy or Jasmine or Alyssa, and that if she had the opportunity that she planned to backdoor those girls. And she has said that. Now, whether she was serious or not about it, who knows? But Monty's passing that on to Indy. Indy seems like she's on board, at least when she's talking to the two guys, saying, yeah, that's difficult, and I get where you're coming from and everything. She never says that she's going to vote out Nicole, but certainly she's listening to that side of the house. All right, we've got Daniel and Nicole talking, comparing notes with each other. I think at this point they're in the auto room, the car room, bedroom downstairs. But Daniel is pointing out that he watched Michael and Kyle and Joseph go into the storage room. Later, he saw Taylor and Terrance go in there. He's been keeping track of how long each of them was in there. In the Big Brother house, someone always is watching, paying attention to who's visiting with who. During my season, it was Tommy Bracco. He knew exactly who came into my room when I was HOH, how long they stayed, how often they came to visit. There's always someone paying attention. In this house, it's Daniel. He's telling Nicole about all these people going in. He says that he then asked Kyle later, said, hey, what's going on in there? And that Kyle was looking down, wouldn't look at Daniel. And so he knows that Kyle's trying to hide stuff. This is a dawning moment. At this point, Daniel and Nicole realize that everything's flipping, that Nicole is going home, that this other group has got everything worked out, that Nicole is heading out the door tomorrow. They finally figured it out. They understand at this point in time. Nicole, in fact, has identified all members of the leftovers. She's saying that there may be 8 members, but she's called out 7, and she's not sure who the 8th person is. Well, it's getting ready to be, I guess, Jasmine, Alyssa, and Indy, perhaps. Not members of the leftovers, but in terms of votes. But she's identified the 7 members of the leftovers. They're talking about that they are terrible players. They're horrible liars, horrible actors, actresses, etc. Well, it seems like they're getting their goals achieved this week. But she's talking about that. She's saying she isn't going to watch Big Brother anymore after this. I guess that's the difference between someone who's just on the show and someone who's a fan of the show. She may change her. I hope she changes her mind and keeps watching, but she says she's done with Big Brother. All right. Terrance is joining Daniel and Nicole in the bedroom downstairs. Nicole is wondering if maybe she just needs to go ahead and just get this out in the open, blow it up a little bit, call out Monty and Joseph about everything that's going on. And Terrance is suggesting, say, hey, instead of doing that, maybe you tell Indy in front of Monty that if you go home, that Taylor's planning on joining Indy and Alyssa, and make sure that Indy knows that there's some repercussions beyond just that they're losing Nicole. And so they talk about that. Nicole wants to talk to Monty and say that, basically threaten him, say, you either keep me in the house or I'm going to tell Indy that she's that I'm going home, and that Indy's getting ready to get Taylor on her duo team with her. So that's what they're thinking is a bit of a Hail Mary. She eventually, instead of going upstairs talking to Monty, goes into the bathroom where most of the rest of the house guests are, grabs Indy, pulls her out of the bathroom, and says, look, I don't have the votes. I'm going home. Taylor is joining up with your group. Congratulations. And Indy's kind of in shock. She's saying, well, why are you? I'm voting for you to stay, Nicole. And Nicole says, I know, but most of the rest aren't. I don't have the vote. So you're going to have Taylor on your duos team. Congratulations. I'm not really sure what she thought she was achieving by saying that. But Indy definitely is now a little bit nervous and wondering why that conversation takes place as well. I think the conversation or the intent was if she told Indy that information, Indy thinking now that Taylor's joining her and Alyssa would blow up, would fight harder for Nicole, would create all the fireworks and maybe lead to all kinds of chaos for the rest of the evening. Doesn't really work out that way. Instead, Indy is back in the bathroom working, taking makeup off and things like that, just in front of the mirror in the bathroom. She later tells Joseph what Nicole said to her. And Joseph's kind of playing back a little bit. He's saying, she's saying that she didn't have the votes. I haven't made up my mind yet. She's saying that, but I'm not really sure what's going on here. Later, Indy tells Alyssa, and Alyssa is then responding to Indy saying, look, if she doesn't think she has the votes, I'm just telling you can't be on the wrong side of the house, Indy. I know how much you like her and all. You can't be on the wrong side of the house. Nicole then is kind of waiting for fireworks to happen that never happened. At one point, she says that she's too old for the game. No, you're not too old for the game. Take it from the older person. You're not too old for the game. Stressful game, hard game, but you're not too old for it. Daniel is saying, look, we're playing this game with a bunch of losers who are just here for Instagram fame. Well, there's a little more to it than that. All right, we've got Indy talking to Monty and Joseph, saying, look, I'm hearing all this stuff. Nicole came to me, said she doesn't have the votes. And if all of that's true, she said, I'll vote with the house. I will vote Nicole out. But if I do, Daniel's going to scream at me. He's going to be so furious with me, so upset. And Joseph says, no, I'm not going to let that happen a second time. Daniel already had his little yelling outburst, I guess, against Taylor, right? And he said, I'm not going to let it happen again. You're okay if you do that. Just do what you need to do. But I think Joseph says, you got to vote the way you want to vote. Don't vote scared. Vote the way you want to vote. Jasmine later is warning Indy, saying, do not go against the house. And she's saying, if you want to vote out Nicole, Indy, I'll vote the same way with you. She's trying to cover up a little bit. She's going to come around later and say, well, Indy said she was voting out Nicole. With that vote, I knew that she was going home. So, yeah, I didn't have any choice but to vote out also. So she's telling Indy she'll vote the same way Indy does. Also, Jasmine's a little upset. She's saying that Brittany and Michael obviously lied to her about their plans, voting plans all week long. They just lied to her face. Jasmine at this point is telling Indy, saying, look, if Nicole's going home, and we have to vote her out, get something out of it. Go tell Taylor that you'll vote to save Taylor if Taylor agrees not to join you and Alyssa in the next duo. It's an interesting thought. It's not a bad idea. I don't think it'll work because I think Taylor assumes she's got the votes anyway. So why limit her chances, her ability to stay protected going forward? But it's an interesting conversation, a really interesting thought. Jasmine's certainly thinking about it. We do have Daniel talking to Indy a little bit later. Everyone's fighting over Indy, fighting over Kyle, fighting over not so much Michael or Terrance anymore. But anyway, Daniel's warning Indy that, look, the guys are going to go after the strong girls. The Oasis group was formed on day 3. It's still there, even if it's not in that particular name. He says they're going to continue to go after the strong girls. You better be prepared for it, Indy. Going away from the game, we get a little makeout session between Alyssa and Kyle in the storage room at 4:00 in the morning or something. It's late. So we get them making out a little bit. We've got Jasmine. Jasmine's a little upset. Jasmine, as part of her have-nots ending, not only had all kinds of food done, but Nicole made a whole bunch of muffins. They set some aside for Jasmine. I think Jasmine gathered them up and everything. Well, Jasmine's upset because she has discovered that someone ate a bunch of the muffins that she was saving up. They've disappeared. She's saying, who did it? No one's admitting to it. She says, I'm going to go into the diary room. I'm going to ask them, look at the tapes and see who ate the muffins. Diary room's not going to tell her that. And it turned out, no, they didn't tell her that. They refused to tell her that. But while she's in the diary room, Turner's laughing. He turns to Taylor and says, I may have eaten one of the muffins. So they're all laughing about that a little bit. As I shut this down at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, Houston time, most of the house guests are still awake. Turner is messing with a couple of the muffins that Jasmine still has in a little plastic baggie on the dining room table. He's screwing with them. Those muffins may not last until the morning. We will find out. But there you have it, guys. So again, it's not going to be a blindside tonight. Everyone knows what's going on. It really looks like Nicole's heading out the door. It's just a question of how many Jasmine, Alyssa, and Indy in particular, are they all going to flip? Are there still going to be some votes? Daniel's going to vote to save Nicole. I absolutely believe. Indy may as well. Beyond that, it's Nicole's day to walk out the door. And then we got the HOH. And depending on who wins the HOH, all kinds of things could happen in the house this evening based on that. I'm excited for it. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'll give you the updates. Hopefully we know who wins HOH by tomorrow morning, and then we can talk about the repercussions of that as well. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. Until tomorrow morning, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.